Hi guys, welcome back to Share Parenting. Today I wanted to talk about what I do when there is nothing I can do. This comes up a lot during the holidays because we're going to go visit family, we're going to go see people that we haven't seen in a while, and in a lot of families there is history. There's old stories, there's baggage, there's drama. And because of that, there's this dread about going and seeing other family members. And sometimes that can lead to a productive conversation. Sometimes it's not going to happen. I've had both experiences with different people in my family, and that's just how it is sometimes. We did do a podcast with Kim Cooper about setting boundaries within your family, whether that is with conversation and dialogue, or whether that boundary is super firm, like, you know what, we're just going to go no contact. Because sometimes that is necessary. So if you want to check that out, I will link it above. It is a long one, but it's a pretty good one, so enjoy. When it comes to situations we can't do anything about, what comes up a lot in my groups and in the groups with similar philosophies to mine is when people are parenting very differently than you are, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, maybe it makes you sad, maybe it is something that you really disagree with, but there's nothing you can do about it. So first thing that I do for myself emotionally is I get my kids and just hug them, and I am grateful that I get to make the choices for them because they're my children and they aren't experiencing whatever it is that I don't like, because I have the right and the privilege to choose differently for them. So I focus on that gratitude and that connection, and it does help me a little bit. Then I move forward, and I remember that it is not for me to convince other people to agree with me. I make the choices that are right for my kids because they're my choices to make. And if other people don't agree, that's totally fine. They don't have to agree with me. They don't have to do the same thing as me for me to feel like I'm making the right choices. If you need your family or your friends to validate your choices, then you maybe aren't as secure in your choices as you think you are. And then that might be indicating an area where you need to evaluate. Is this something that I actually do really believe in? Or maybe I do question it. Maybe it is something I don't agree with. Or, you know, I'm doing just out of habit or old stories, or, you know, this is what my family did and it's something I want to change. That is a signal to you to kind of reevaluate. And if you reevaluate and you come to a place where you're like, no, actually, this is how I want to parent. This is what I like about this choice, and this is what's right for my family, then that's it. The end. They don't have to agree. They don't have to validate you. They don't have to tell you you're doing the right thing. They certainly don't have to change what they're doing for your choices to be correct. We're making different choices on a daily basis. Even the people who have the same philosophies as us, they have different kids. So they're going to have different outcomes, different choices for different situations. And that's just how it is. Secondly, I think, is there a way to discuss this? Is there something that, you know, we have common ground on? And is there a way I can present it that is inviting conversation rather than I'm right, you're wrong, and just dismissing their entire approach? That often is not going to be available in a family setting. A big holiday get together, probably not the time to talk politics, religion, parenting. That's just how it is. So what can you do? Well, you can passively share information on your social media, share articles, share links. I have been shocked to hear people in my family who were adamantly opposed to Share Parenting philosophies were watching my videos, reading my articles, and actually making changes in their own families. Cousins and such that I had no idea that I was even on the radar, like, have cussed me out for daring to suggest being gentle and responsive to kids. And years later hearing, oh yeah, I've been stalking you. You know, I really like this, and this is what we're doing now. Like, that's amazing. But it could be the same for you. You might be sharing articles and you're not getting immediate positive feedback from people, so you think they're not seeing it, but maybe they are. You don't actually know. And there's a lot of things that we wouldn't know about if somebody around us hadn't shared. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get any kind of conversion by sharing and shaming. How dare parents do this? And you post an article. That's going to shut people down. Just post the article. Post the article with, this is really interesting. Post the article with, something to think about. That's going to invite people to read it and make their own assessment. If somebody comes at you and they're posting nasty comments, just block them. I spent 4 days arguing with somebody who was not a friend, family member, any relation. I don't even know how they found my personal Facebook page to fight with me. But rather than spending 4 days, I encourage you to not do what I did. Just block them. It's not worth it. It's social media. It takes away from your joy to have that kind of fight, and it's not going to help. You are never going to convince somebody by arguing in Facebook comments. It's not going to happen. So instead, have a real conversation, or just say, we're allowed to disagree. The end. So you can do passive things like that. The next thing you can do is ask if that other person likes reading or watching videos on that topic. Hey, I actually just read something about this. Do you mind if I send you an article? Then it's very respectful. You're asking permission before you take it upon yourself to dive in and fix them. You're asking if it's okay if you share your viewpoint. They might agree, they might not, but they might not have ever even heard. And again, it's not yours to do to go around correcting other parents. You focus on your kids and what's right for you. So if you do absolutely nothing, that's fine too. That's valid. Focus on your own kids. If your heart is called to share, or you think that there's an opportunity that maybe there's a lack of knowledge or lack of information, or maybe just a frustration and not really knowing what other options there are, then absolutely open that dialogue and see if there's a window where you could share something. Invite them to the Facebook group or to the YouTube channel. Hey, I watched this lady on YouTube who shares these videos that have been really helpful to me. What's her name again? Oh, Sammy Bell. It's called Sure Parenting. Here, I'll send you a link. Very casually, you can share information without you posturing yourself as superior to them because you make different choices. You want to be very careful about that. There is a lot of shame. There is enough fighting and parenting and as it is. We don't want to contribute to that. And the last thing that I do, if there really is, there's no hope of conversation, we're blocked on social media, I'm not going to share anything that they're going to see, anything like that, is I will write a story. And so what that means is you just get a regular piece of paper and you write every part of the paper. The margins, the top, the bottom, the whole thing. You fill in the paper. You fill it completely in with a story. And the way you write a story is as if it's already happened. So it's present tense as if it's already happened. So you're seeing this scenario and you wish it was different. Well, then you write a story about, you know what I just learned? I learned that my blank brother, sister, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, mother-in-law, whoever it is, father, mother, it doesn't matter what the family relation is, they read some books or they watched the videos or they came upon some information, and now when this situation happens, this is how they handle it. And I got to see it, at this event, and you write out this fantasy of how that could have played out differently. And you literally write it out and you pour your energy into the creation of this story. And it's weird and it is silly, woo-woo, whatever, but it makes you feel pretty good. This negative exists and you're kind of creating the positive to counter this negative. And sometimes it actually works. I don't understand the mechanics of why it would possibly have any effect whatsoever, but I've seen it work really, really well, and it is so exciting when it does. If nothing else, it gives you something to do to feel better. And it's just for you. You don't give this to anybody. You don't share it. It's just your way of sitting down and having a moment to put your energy into a positive outcome. It's called writing a story. It's super simple. You can apply this to any place in your life. We'll talk more about it in other ways, but this is specifically for those holiday gatherings when you see something that's triggering to you and you wish you could change it and there's nothing you can do something. So, of course, if your family is open to it, you can order the Sure Parenting book on Amazon and send it to them just directly from Amazon. You can put their address in. I've had a lot of people send this book as like a baby gift or a Mother's Day gift, things like that, where people have been pretty receptive, and I thought that was pretty cool. I think one of the reasons that it's received well is because any parent is aiming to create the best childhood for their kids. So it's not saying, you know, you have to parent this one way. It's not saying you have to be gentle, be positive, be whatever on the onset. It is essentially making the case that leads to that outcome. Because if you want these results, then you know that's how you'll end up parenting. But it explains each step of the way. I want to show you how it lines up. So that's how it lines up. So we start up here and we moved here, 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 here. Each one of these is a separate chapter. Okay, so it's written in a way that even if people aren't already introduced to positive, gentle, respectful, empathic, conscious, all of those things parenting, then they can still read it and get something out of it and make the shifts that feel right for them. I work very hard in it to not shame parents and to just provide information and facts so that they can feel like it's their choice to move forward in whatever direction, not me lecturing them or shaming on them, because that doesn't work. Never has, never will. So those are the things that I do. But yeah, writing a story is super effective. For people wondering, because I have gotten this question before, it really is similar to praying. You're not writing to a person, but you could write to God, you could write to the universe, you could write to your higher power, you could write to the higher being of whoever that person is. So maybe you can't sit down and have a conversation with your dad, but you could write to his higher self and say all the things you need to say. It's definitely entering the weird territory, but it's harmless, it's time effective, it's quick, and if you hate it, you never have to do it again. So I voted for it. I vote it's worth a try. Let me know if you do this, or if you do something like this. If you have any kind of habits that help you cope when you can't do anything to fix a situation, please share in the comments below, because we're curious. We want to know all of our options, because there are plenty of times when we feel a little bit frustrated and hopeless, and we want to be able to do something. So comment below. Be sure to like this video. That really helps our channel to grow. And feel free to share this with somebody who's struggling this holiday season. If you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you will be notified every week when I upload a new video. I am aiming for every Thursday. I am a mom of 3, so we will see how that goes. But that is my goal for 2020, is consistency. So hopefully you see me every Thursday. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye.